A very good morning to you all and a warm welcome to KFM VPN, that's Views, People and News. This Saturday, it is 4 minutes past 9 o'clock. My name is Judith Atim. I'm your host and it's a pleasure to have you join us for what promises to be a very insightful discussion. I have an all-female panel with me in the studio. And this weekend, we're shifting our focus to a critical and often under-discussed aspect of our political landscape, the role of women. And we're looking at the impact of internal party activities on women in politics. As you all know, the political temperature is rising steadily and the activities in the various political parties are in full swing. We've seen the National Unity Platform continue its vetting process for aspirants at the lower levels. NRM has started delivering rulings from its electoral tribunal with a number of disgruntled candidates vowing to stand as independents. The Democratic Front is holding its nominations and the Forum for Democratic Change has a National Executive Committee meeting set for Tuesday following the selection of their presidential flag bearer. But beyond the headlines, the question we must ask is, what does all this mean for women who aspire to leadership? What does the vetting process look like through a gendered lens? How do the rulings of tribunals on the rise of independence impact female aspirants? And most importantly, what are the perspectives of these women on the political activities shaping our nation today? And in the studio, I am joined by Winfred Nakandi, woman MP aspirant for Kampala. She's standing on the NUP ticket, a member of the National Unity Platform. Good morning, Winfred.
Good morning, Ms. Atim and viewers. My name is Winfred Nakandi. Happy to be here. I'd like to congratulate all people of Uganda and Kampala who have some good news. Those who have succeeded on different fronts. I would like to also add my voice of condolence to the family of Mama Rhoda Kalema. Because in her we lost a pioneer leader, an inspiration to us female leaders, the first female member of parliament. We celebrate her and I wish safe journeys to all those that are traveling today to Chiboga for her burial. I also would like to condole with the people of Hoima, Bolisa, who lost various women in a very bad car accident. These women were actually coming from a market to trade, to try to make ends meet. Most of whom are single mothers or widows. It was a very sad note. We still condole with those families. Altogether, the atmosphere is not bad, but we keep hoping for the best.
Thank you, Winfred. We also have Dr. Sarah Birete, Executive Director, Center for Constitutional Governance. Good morning, Sarah, and a warm welcome to the show.
Good morning, Judith, fellow panelists in the studio, and the viewers and listeners out there. Glad to be back on the KFM platform.
We missed you.
Yeah, but I keep following. I keep following. I know that it's the radio I listen to.
Thank you.
Whenever I'm listening to radio. And I want to add my voice again to pay tribute to Honorable Kanoni Rhoda Nsibirwa Kalema, a great woman. I was glad to have interacted with her on several occasions. In the last 2 weeks of her active life, she used to call me almost every Sunday. You're coming to church, and if the phone is ringing, it's Honorable Rhoda Kalema. She was passionate. She wanted us to push for issues of the girl child, girls who get pregnant in school, girls being trafficked into the Middle East, some of whom have returned in boxes as part of cargo on the planes, and the suffering they go through, that modern day slavery that is not properly regulated, and the plight of pregnant girls in school. Should they stay? And we had been pushing.
The girls should stay in school.
Yes, while pregnant. She had a contrary view. She thought that, first of all, is to burden the schools and upset the school setup because schools do not have provisions for maternal health care. The second issue she was raising was that it would send a bad example to girls, young girls, as if it's okay
to get pregnant because the school would still
we would be encouraging it. The third issue was the likely stigma from young students that would cause a mental breakdown on a pregnant young girl. And the fourth issue, which was a recommendation, was that these girls should be handed back to their parents to take good care of them through the antenatal and counseling process and safe delivery. And after the mandatory 6 months of breastfeeding or nursing of the baby and mother-baby bonding, the girl should be reformed back into schooling. So she thought we were, as women rights activists, were wrong in pushing that a pregnant girl should stay in school. And actually her reasoning makes a lot of sense.
It certainly does.
Yeah, may she rest in peace.
Thank you, Sarah. And I also have Marilyn Kabugo, member of the NRM. She's also aspiring for the Kasese District Woman MP. Good morning, Mary. Warm welcome to the show.
Good morning, team. Thank you, fellow panelists. Nice meeting you. It's my first time here, by the way. Yeah, it's my first time at KFM, and
we are really happy to have you.
Yeah, it's a good feeling to be here today. And like you have introduced me, it's Kabo Marilyn. I take the opportunity to congratulate all the women who participated in the NRM primaries, even when other people say, including me, I don't know about myself, say that it was marred by a lot of corruption, a lot of alterations, a lot of certainties. That's why you see a lot of people have gone to Chadondo to Kampala Plot 30 to petition. But all in all, we congratulate all the women who took that time, who had the courage to go and give it a try to offer leadership to other women, to the girl child, and to everyone in Uganda, because a mother is a mother. And also congratulate my counterparts. I have here my sister who is in the NOP, who share the best in the upcoming primary elections. And I have my sister back home, by the way, who is also Kamama. She almost looks like her. They almost look alike. I wish them the best.
She's a NOP person.
Yeah, she's also a NOP. Yeah, this is multi-party politics. Yeah. It's not enmity, but we are all vying to take leadership role for Ugandans, for the mothers, and for the children, and to be a good example. Thank you, Ati.
Thank you to all of you. So I'm going to just take us through the biggest stories of the week, and then I'll ask you to just give your reflections or reactions to just one or two of them. But interestingly, most of the news highlights are actually dominated by the same issues we're going to talk about here, politics. So on Tuesday, following a public outcry on mainstream and social media about the poor state of roads and delayed or abandoned works, President Yoweri Museveni wrote a 4-page statement warning against the culture of scattering resources thinly and urged government leaders to return to the National Resistance Army's disciplined approach of focused phase development. He reflected on past mistakes in Uganda's planning and budgeting cycles, blaming them on attempts to tackle too many priorities simultaneously, leading to poor execution and waste of public resources. Still on Tuesday, the NRM Election Disputes Tribunal began delivering rulings arising from the petitions from the elections of MPs in the party primaries. Formal hearings began on July 29th, following disputed polls held on the 17th of July, which left several candidates and their supporters dissatisfied with the results. And they've been complaining about irregularities that marred the process, including voter bribery, intimidation, manipulation of results, among others. The rulings have created both excitement and anger or frustration, depending on whose side victory goes to and whose side loses. Now, some of those who've lost have vowed to contest as independent candidates in the 2026 elections. More judgments are expected, including that of one of our panelists here today. That's Marilyn Kabogo, who is disputing the results for the Kasese District Woman MP. The National Unity Platform has also continued its vetting exercise for aspirants seeking to contest in the upcoming polls on its ticket. The exercise began on July 28th with those in Kampala at local council levels and has since moved to Wakiso and now to upcountry areas. Vetting of aspirants for MP positions is expected later once they are done with local governments. That's from the NUP camp. And on to the Democratic Front, the DF has also been on the ground this week in Teso Sub-Region and Busoga. They've been holding their mobilization rallies, and the Electoral Commission has received expression of interest forms and also nominating aspiring candidates. The message from the DF leaders has centered on promises of bringing a new approach to tackling governance challenges, including the unfair distribution of national resources. They're urging Ugandans to elect the right leaders to fill different positions across the country. And as all these political party activities continue, the Electoral Commission has also this week announced changes to the nomination schedule for various local government positions ahead of the upcoming elections. In the revised roadmap, nominations for municipality division positions will now take place between 8th and 10th September 2025, while sub-county chairpersons and councillors will be conducted from 11th to 24th September 2025 at the sub-county headquarters, and this exercise excludes weekends. Outside the election cycle, the High Court in Kampala yesterday dismissed a bail application filed by former presidential candidate, retired Colonel Dr. Kizza Besigye, and his co-accused Haji Obeid Lutale. Justice Emmanuel Baguma held that the remand period began on 21st Feb 2025 when the applicants were formally charged and remanded by the Nakawa Chief Magistrates Court on charges of treason and misprision of treason. The judge emphasized that by the time the application was filed on 28th May 2025, only 98 days had elapsed, which made the application premature. And on a rather sad note, which of course also our panelists have mentioned already, the country has lost two distinguished citizens this week. Honorable Rhoda Nsibirwa Kalema, a trailblazer in Uganda's political history and a champion of women's rights, and also business mogul and philanthropist James Garuga Musinguzi. Kalema passed away on Sunday 3rd, while Musinguzi died on Wednesday 6th August from the Aga Khan Hospital and Nakasero hospitals, respectively. Rhoda Kalema, aged 96, popularly referred to as the Mother of Parliament, was one of the first two female members of the National Consultative Council. She served in Parliament and as a minister, and also held various positions. President Museveni accorded her a state funeral, and she will be laid to rest today in Chiboga. On the other hand, Garuga Musinguzi, who died aged 72, was a founding member of the Forum for Democratic Change, a prominent businessman, hotelier, and philanthropist. A very packed week with also sad news. Ladies, before I get your views and reactions, let me also take this opportunity to acknowledge the arrival and presence of my final panelists, Ms. Adelaide Nachitende, who is the Secretary for Environment and Natural Resources in the Democratic Front. Most welcome, Adelaide.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Judith. I'm glad to be here, and greetings to the Ugandans that are listening in.
Very quickly, are you aspiring for any position?
Why not?
Aha, good. That's all I needed to know. I'll ask you about the rest a little later. So, just very quickly again, your quick thoughts. I think I'll start with you, Sarah. It's been a loaded week, and I know you have already talked about your friend, your mother, Rhoda. But just when you look at all these other things that have happened in the week, I'd just like to know what you think. Maybe it's a court decision or anything else.
Yes, maybe also to eulogize a friend I met as a very young girl, Musingu's Garuga, who has been described as a Dangote, Uganda's Dangote. He held so many business interests. I saw a comment on social media, somebody saying, but how come we don't know these businesses? It's because he was a down-to-earth person and he could not flaunt his riches in front of everybody to see. But the people who know him know that he was a business magnate in real estate, in pharmaceuticals, and forex trading, and so many other interests. But you had to know him first before you know his businesses, unlike the other, regime billionaires that we see, parading money everywhere. Garuga Msinguz was committed to fighting for democratic governance in this country, fighting for alternative leadership that would keep government in check. That was his principle when he supported the late Dr. Kawanga Semogere in the 1996 elections, that there must be an alternative that keeps government in check. And that was his character all through his adult life in the democratic dispensation of Uganda. May he rest in peace. The key events of the day, I will start with the issue of Dr. Besigye's bail. Justice Ogora did rule that in mandatory bail, even the days in illegal custody are counted so long as somebody is in custody of a government detention center. Dr. Besigye was abducted on November 16th last year from Nairobi. Today, he makes about 265 days in detention. It will soon be a year. So the gymnastics raised by the office of the DPP and the justice accepted by Justice Baguma, that the days Dr. Besigye was facing a military trial are not to be counted. Yet military trials were established by laws of Uganda. They have been re-established through the UPDF Amendment Act. It's very, very unfortunate. It's as if these military courts belong to Somalia or any unknown entity. A person in custody is a person in custody. You don't go defining that today you are in custody in Kasese, tomorrow you are in custody in Moroto, so we start counting from Moroto. It's really extremely saddening and unbelievable that, because High Court is a court of record, unbelievable that a court of record could issue such a ruling. This ruling, if it had come from a grade 2 or grade 1 magistrate, would say maybe they don't understand the protection, the requirement of court to protect the fundamental rights and freedoms of Ugandans. Extremely unbelievable.
Are you concerned, though, that this could also set a dangerous precedent for future similar cases, especially where the cases are maybe political in nature or similar to what Besigye and Obeid Natalia are going through?
Besigye's case, of course, it's a political case. I highly doubt that there is anything substantial in the legal content of whatever the state is claiming. Because if it was, at the time of his abduction, we were told by all state agencies that the state is ready with evidence and they are ready for a quick trial. But it's coming to a year. So what are they waiting for? So I highly doubt that there is any iota in the allegations against Besigye. I would be shocked if there was any. So given that background, you remember how Justice Baguma started playing games with the file of Dr. Besigye. I was even surprised why the principal judge could not reallocate that file, because it was obvious from the beginning. The first time Besige's lawyer appeared before him and they were told he doesn't have the file, it was obvious that he was part of the political games. That file should have been reallocated to a neutral judge that could dispense justice in an impartial and independent manner. However, the claim by the DPP that Dr. Besige has spent just 162 days, then, so on 1st August, you know, today it's less than 2 weeks to make, even under the trial in civil courts, it's less than 2 weeks to make those 180 days. So if I were a part of the legal team for Dr. Besige, however tiring and annoying it is, I would be drafting the new petition, waiting, because we are about 10 days away, according to the accounting. So what games are they going to play this time? I would file another petition in 10 days.
Thank you. Let's move to you, Winfred. Just your quick thoughts and reactions to the highlights of the week. It was quite a lot.
Yeah, sure, it was quite a lot. Thank you so much. I agree with Dr. Birete. The issue of Dr. Besige's continued incarceration is something that should worry all of us in politics, especially in opposition politics, because you never know when you're going to be arrested for what. It is a shock that Dr. Besige and Hajobed Lutale can spend this long in prison, over 260 days in jail, and all we have is ping pong games here and there. You mentioned when you were starting to tell the public about the week's highlights, you said General Museveni in his long letter talked about Okumansa. There is something that there is a way
he was using a lot of local phrases. Yes,
lots of local language, local phrases. This government does not know what's the priorities of the country are. Actually, what our strengths are and what our niche should be. We're a country which could do well in agriculture, but we try to also go to space. We also try to manufacture, assemble cars, trying to assemble buses and so forth. It is absurd. People say that General Museveni usually speaks like an opposition leader. Recently, when he was on the PDM tours across the country and recently in Kampala, he was speaking as if he was clueless of what was happening. It is very absurd that it is the president of the country who is saying, you see, you people, you're fragmenting resources. We do not know exactly what we are doing as a country. I would suggest that we go back and try to find out what our strengths are as a country. What are we good at? We have fertile soils. We have good climate. What exactly do we want to do? But getting money and then, using small bits of it every other time. It's now 1 year after Chitezi landfill collapse. People lost families. Actually, I'm very glad that we have had a Nation Media company, Nation Media TV, broadcast, trying to throw light on the lives of people 1 year after the landfill collapse. And you can see an individual who lost his both parents and all his children. When are they going to ever get justice? We do not know. When do they ever get compensation? We do not know. But even something as small as that. You see, Uganda is a country that is naturally endowed, and we are lucky that we do not have serious natural calamities. I think the natural calamities that we have here are those in Bududa, landslides, but we do not have like tornadoes and hurricanes and things like that. But if we continue, if people continue dying from floods in the city, from something as weird as garbage falling down on them and their families, it is something very, very, very absurd. And I think the president would really better have better goodwill and would not come lamenting to the public that we are doing badly on resource allocation.
Thank you. Mary, let's hear what you think, and then we move the mic to Adelaide. Sorry?
I beg your pardon?
Just the highlights of the week. I was reading the big stories that stood out, including what is happening in your own party, the legal tribunal that's hearing the election petitions, what's happening in the NUP camp, and also the president's letter on the state of roads in this country. You could just pick any, as well as the High Court.
Thank you so much, Judith. No, I won't go there.
Okay.
You know why? First of all, I condole with the family of Garuga, a great business person who comes from Western Uganda, where I also come from. May the Almighty God strengthen our families. Then also condole with the family of Mama Rhoda, our senior woman, actually. We look up to her, all of us, the women in leadership. So may her soul rest in peace. On the state of roads, I must follow that. I was following it when the president was making that comment. I come from the border. I happen to come from the border of... I come from Kasese. Kasese is bordering Congo, the other side. Last year, the president went to Kasese to commission the road from Chikorongo. I know you don't know that place, but Kasese is one of the best business places that attracts revenue at around 40%. The merchandise, gold,
from
food,
the DRC,
food stuff, and a lot of other things that would bring in revenue at the end of the day. And us, being in government doesn't mean that I don't see the bad roads. No. Actually, we've been raising our voices all together, to UNRWA, to whoever is concerned. And when he said that the roads are going to be made, we didn't see also our road being mentioned. But we believe, like we have able leaders, we shall keep pushing. We in this government, we shall keep. But our road is really in a sorry state.
Well, but that's interesting, because we also know that government has invested a lot in building roads inside DRC, about 200 kilometers or even more. So then how do they skip Kasese? So how is it even going to work? How does it make sense that the people from Kasese, from Uganda, entering DRC, how is it going to even work? How are you going to make the money, the 40%?
The new contractor, I think they just contracted a new person who just was supposed to begin the road this year in July, but we are still waiting from Chikorongo up to the DRC. I think it was an oversight. I must say that it was an oversight for them to have skipped Chikorongo, because you cannot, from Barara, you access DRC to Chikorongo. If you use Fort Portal, you have to access it through the same road. But the potholes, my dear, if you pass there, you'd think that actually each time I pass there, because I'm vying for that district woman seat.
So you have to be everywhere.
I have to be everywhere. Each time I pass there, it is I have to go to a garage. And it's real tiring. It is real. So another thing, that is one thing for all whoever is listening. I think we need help in Kasese, but I know we have people who are also speaking. I'm just adding my voice onto that, that as they're considering making roads, they should also consider making a road in Kasese. So another issue, what issues at hand, what is happening, like you already say that I'm one of the contestants for the district woman seat, Kasese district. And I'm one of those people who petitioned the Electoral Commission in Chadondo. But I hope for the best. We are believing in them. As myself, we went through a hell. I believe that I won. And I must inform your team that the people in Kasese are waiting for the outcome of the petition. It's always good, as in to first weigh yourself, even before you come to Kampala to petition. How did you perform? how do the people, what kind of support, how much support do you have? And what the people, are you with the people or the people against you? In my case, I must inform this current even inform my fellow panelists here that Marilyn here performed very well, and it was just alteration of results. We were waiting to be announced at around 6 there, but some gameplay somewhere came at around 7, 8, and someone just forceful who thinks is powerful. I think that is what we still face as women. Marginalization, I call it disrespect of the highest order to a woman who has duly been elected by the women, by men in the district, and a man, because you're a man, you just come from nowhere, you're holding a place in a place of leadership. You just come and overrule. What will this woman do? If she wants, she can go to court. So that is what happened, and I petitioned. I came to petition, and I hope for the best.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good luck. We hope in the coming week we shall be knowing what happens.
It should be this week. Today's tomorrow,
Saturday.
Today's Saturday. They work 2-4-7.
Oh, great.
From Monday to Sunday.
Okay.
Monday to Monday.
Okay.
So today, tomorrow, Monday. Latest it should be Tuesday.
Okay.
But for us, we need a rerun. You know, these things we need a rerun.
We're going to have a deeper discussion. So, Adelaide, I need to come to you just very quickly, and then we take a break. Just your reactions very quickly in maybe 3 minutes or so regarding the news highlights, the biggest stories of the week. What stood out for you, and what do you think about it?
Okay, thank you, Judith. Once again, I want to thank all those who are listening through, and I want to bring the public greetings from the DF. I want to bring courage to all those who are supporting the DF, that we're doing so far so good. Our team has been combing the eastern region the whole of this week. We were in Soroti. They went to Serere, and currently they are in Jinja, and getting expression of interest for people in Busoga region. Thanks to the team that is in.
I needed to first hear your thoughts about the stories, and then we come to that discussion of the parties, what's going on. It is
also important that the public knows.
No problem.
Nachitende once again, Adelaide, and an aspiring candidate, Kampala Woman MP.
I have two of them in the house.
So back to what has transpired this week. I want to add a voice to my fellow panelists to commiserate with families of Garuga and Mother to Parliament, Rhoda Kalema. This country has surely lost important people. Why not? We commiserate with their families. Back to the Besigye incident. Something that we cannot close our eyes on. It's gotten to a point where I think Besigye and President Museveni are kind of rolling themselves in the mud before us as Ugandans. As the DF, we think Dr. Besigye, just like any other Ugandan, deserves a right to freedom, deserves to be free, to step out of prison and have his freedom, why not? But also to think that his incident is just more than meets the eye, it is draining. I must tell the public that it is draining. And it's high time President Museveni and Dr. Besigye work their things out. They cannot keep dragging this country. If they have something personal like we have seen before Winnie Besigye come out to give us a history of her husband and President Museveni. Let them do something. I mean, let them work out these issues. Mm-hmm. They can't be in our faces all the time. Let them solve their issues. But we feel for Dr. Besigye as a person who has always fought on. He's been on the right track, and we still believe he deserves his freedom.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Adelaide, it is time for us to take a break now, and then when we return, we shall dive deep into our discussion about the woman's seat at the table, or her place in power, and the challenges of navigating the political landscape after the break. Welcome back from the break. This is KFM VPN. I'm Judith Atim. We're discussing the impact of internal party activities on women in politics. So in our conversation, we're not just talking politics, we're using a gendered lens to unpack the issues, the challenges, and the opportunities for women in the political arena. So we'll be hearing directly from women who are on the front lines, navigating the complex dynamics of party politics and vying for a seat at the table. So Sarah, this round, we're starting with the ladies vying. But you also stood at some point many years ago. I'll come to that later. So ladies, let's just kick things off, and I want to start by hearing from each of you. Briefly, just let us know your motivations for entering this political space. Let me start with you, because you've not had a lot of opportunity to speak, Adelaide. What has motivated you to go into elective politics, to aspire to be the representative for Kampala women?
Well, thank you so much, Judith.
3 minutes, three. We need to manage time.
Thank you, Judith. First and foremost, we all know the status quo politically. It is time that the youth come out to challenge this status quo. That is the reason I am here. And the reason that everyone must know that the NRM has been here long enough. They have done all the injustices to Ugandans. They have done all the kind of injustices to the Kampalans. They have done all the injustices to the people in Karamoja. We have seen all these women in the NRM. I don't know whether the NRM is breeding thieves. The women in the NRM are just a group of those thieves. How do you steal iron sheets of people in Karamoja?
But not all of them. I think also we have to be quite specific. Not every woman.
The top leadership. Talk of the vice president. She was involved in the saga. Talk of Gitutu, the minister. She was involved in the saga. Talk of Anita Among, the Speaker of Parliament, was involved. So what is more leadership than the top leadership? If the top leadership can do this, what do you expect of the Kabos who are coming on board? Okay, so now tell us what besides that, besides NRM and so on, there has to be, I want to hear that personal thing that has also driven you, that you want to see change. Thank you so much. To have change, you must first be cognizant of the status quo. You must know that you really need change. The people, the kind of injustice, look at Besigye, incarcerated all these days. No justice for him. We all know that justice delayed is justice denied. We also know that the people in Kampala, look at the roads. This is a capital city. Look at the women in the markets. They run the economy of this country. But if the people at the bottommost ladder, of the economic structure are not doing well, what do you expect? They have been oppressed, and then the NRM comes out to lie to people that they have parish development model. Have they really organized the youth, the women? So what does the DF
intend to do differently that, say, NRM has not done or is not doing?
Thank you so much. The DF is here to change the status quo. We are here to do that the NRM has failed. Everything is a rotten system. So if you ask me what the DF is coming to do, we are just coming to change the status quo.
Thank you. Winfred, let me come to you as NUP. I want to know, so you have a challenger in the room. I'm glad that I actually didn't know which role she was contesting for. So you've met your match now. You're both vying for the same constituency, Kampala woman. And I'm hoping the best of you wins. But I just need to know your motivation, your biggest motivation to enter this political space.
Thank you so much, Judith. Before I forget, I also want to commiserate with PFF as a political party for having lost a young, trailblazing gentleman, Denmark Bainom Jisha, former guild president of Bishop Stewart University, and also was vying for Mbarara City South Member of Parliament. I am happy to have this conversation with one of my mentors in the room. Dr. Sarah Virete here is someone I've looked up to for a very long time, but also a personal friend and mentor. Dr. Sarah, my goal is to make you proud, and I really will. I pray for you. Thank you. I am running for woman member of Parliament of Kampala District because we have a leadership and representation vacuum in that position. Kampala is a district with 9 constituencies. Incidentally, all the 9 are filled with men. Although the law does not bar any woman from running, but the one position that we have as an affirmative action position must have clear, deliberate, and intentional representation for women. Judith and listeners, the women of Kampala have specific needs, specific challenges related to health, related to education. I'll tell you, Kampala Capital City Authority, for the past 3 financial years, has pleaded with Parliament to at least renovate the 8 health centers that we have. Kampala as a district has only 8 health centers, only 2 of those at the level of health center 4. Kampala has a population of 1.8 million people. Those are residents, and close to 5 million or 4 million pass through the city on a daily basis. It is therefore imperative on the leadership to have good medical facilities for all these people. Here we are in Makinde Division, and in this division there is a hospital called Chirudu. It's a national referral hospital. It's not at the KCCA level, it's national referral. But it's a hospital where the management of this hospital was facing parliamentary committee just days back. And one of the problems they brought before Parliament was, you see, our room that keeps the power facilities floods when it rains. I mean, problems as small as those are affecting our health system. Kawempe National Referral Hospital was constructed with a capacity to carry 200 beds for mothers. At the moment, over 350 women deliver from that hospital. Where did the 150 asleep or stay during delivery? On the floor. They put mattresses on the floor. So the representation of women in this city must be deliberate on the issues of women. I've been fortunate to work in civil society on issues affecting women and girls in menstruation, education, governance, and so forth. But these problems, Judith, need, of course, a gender perspective. You see, there is a form that we call Police Form 3 that it's like it's a medical form. If a woman has been defiled or raped, it's what they will use to take notes of where do you evidence, collect evidence from your body. These forms must be free. Just like you go to police stations and you see they say bail is free or bond is free. Actually, no, bond is free. But these women are asked to pay between 30,000 and 50,000 just for those forms. And women or girls who reside in slums like Namuongo here, your neighboring slum, for a woman to face violence at the level of rape and defilement, these are usually less empowered women. So someone has come to the police station to report a case, and you're asking them for money to just get a medical form. These are all issues that need someone who is deliberate on the issues of women. Kampala as a district contributes over 60% to the national, to the GDP as a city. But you can see our road network. I am happy that there are some improvements now, but this is also something happening on loan. We have different forms of support. We have a Kampala Drainage Master Plan supported by World Bank, started in 2016. It had to be a 10-year program which had to end next year. This was designed to tackle issues of drainage, issues
flooding,
of flooding. But it is sad that less than a year ago, 7 people died here in Kampala City. So, but putting it to the lens of women, we have markets here. We have markets that are under construction. We also have markets that are already complete. I'll give you an example of a market like Chitintale. Chitintale market has been under construction for the past 5 years. The owner of the place where women now sell their merchandise or goods wants the place. Government has put up a market, but for the past 5 financial years, it has never been complete. So anytime these people are unsettled, anytime they could be chased from that land. The women in Natete market are also uncertain of their future because the owner of that land also wants it. Mm-hmm. Government is yet to give them their own space.
Okay, but Winfred, I'm just curious. You are contesting for Kampala Woman MP, a position that's currently held by Shami Malende, a member of your own party. Are you trying to say that as a party you are not satisfied, or this is a vote of no confidence in her performance over the last 5 years?
Judith, I do not speak for the party. I'm not the party spokesperson or deputy or anything like that.
But okay, as a contestant, do you think she has not served the women of Kampala well?
The party, and like I told you, see, we have different strengths, Judith. The current MP has strength in litigation. That's why you'll see her in court every other time fighting for political prisoners, which is a good thing. What we need right now, what is lacking, is women representation. Representation that is women-oriented, that is centered to the plight of women and girls in Kampala. Judith...
and you feel she has not adequately tackled that?
I don't know if you've seen any of that happen or any of that come from her. Mm-hmm. You see, Judith, we have. I'm not even sure that. Of course, I don't want to talk about her. I appreciate her work in litigation. She has done that quite well, especially fighting for political prisoners. You see, we're in a system where every other day you're not sure when you'll be arrested. Actually, on that note, I want to disagree with my fellow contender here, Adelaide Nachitende, who said that Dr. Besigye and Mr. Museveni should get out of our faces, because it's not when you say they're rolling themselves in the mud, it's like Dr. Besigye is also arresting General Museveni, then the other way around, it is General Museveni arresting Dr. Besigye, and he's not the only person that he's arresting. We've had political prisoners for like 4-5 years, so that issue is a political issue. Judith, just to
maybe I can you just hold that thought a little bit? Let me come to Mary, and then I'll get back to you later. Mary, your motivation.
Oh, thank you, Judith. Mary here. Before I joined politics, I think that's 5 years active politics. I've always been a politician from the time of my university. I was in Makerere University some years ago, so I was in that politics, but that is school politics. But me joining active politics, it was in 2020. We ran for primaries and then went for the general elections. I was working before with Parliament as a senior policy analyst who was close, someone who was close, always seeing how things happen. Legislation, oversight, budgeting. Most especially, I used to see how the budgeting process is taking place, and I used to be one of the staff who used to see. So as someone who comes from Kasese, all of us know that Kasese was being represented by my big sisters from the other side. Even now, we have a FDC. I call her my big sister, disagreeing on principle of service delivery to the people of Kasese, that they're missing a lot. So I picked my courage from there from right away from the committee room budgeting, what is going to Kasese, who is going to lobby for them, what are they taking, what are our people receiving, apart from talking on floor of parliament. Last time we had a leader of opposition. Yeah, she was very good. I respect her and I admire her. I look up to her when it comes to speaking, just talking. But when you go on ground, back home, I think the outcome, you don't correlate. When I correlate what people are receiving from her and what she is telling the world, was totally different.
What do you mean, people receiving from her? Because what is the role of an MP, for example? Because when you say what people are receiving from her...
For example, lobbying. Judith, members of parliament are supposed to lobby for their people. Mm-hmm. Members of parliament are supposed to lobby for their people. When I speak here, what I speak on floor of parliament should correlate or should match what I'm taking on ground. For example, if we are talking about hospitals that are not being constructed, for example, we've been crying, there is an outcry of grade 5, like Mbarara has a referral, Fort Portal has a referral hospital, Kasese is a big place. We deserve and need a referral hospital there. But over the years, almost it's coming to 20 years, we still get our money to go to Mbarara, we still get our money to go to Fort Portal. And yet we have able people, able representatives who would have lobbied for us, I believe, if they were in the NRM. So Mary here had to offer myself to come and join politics at that level. I want to lobby for my people. I want to bring services close to them. By sitting in the caucus, you know that NRM, when we come to parliament, we caucus. First of all, we sit in the caucus. This is a ruling government where 300 plus people are in government. So I believe when I raise my voice for my people, the country will hear that. Even when it's the road, by the way, I cried there over some road that is connecting Uganda to Congo. I believe if we had someone in power who is in a rim, it wouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
So I came on behalf of the people. That's why I told you that when you speak about Marilyn, they understand the name. They understand the services she's going to be, because I speak directly to the people. And number two, why actually I offered myself, why do I think that Marilyn is the best? It's a lot of women. Right now we're even represented by my namesake Flores and other women also who contested with us in the primaries. But I think that I have the capacity to lobby.
So, Marilyn, what you're going through right now, seeking justice from the tribunal, is basically what happened before. This is not the first time you're actually contesting the outcome of the results. 2020, it happened in the primaries in 2020. It is happening now, and at that time you had actually won. Not so, but by a small margin, though. Maybe 500 votes or so. This time we see the margin is about 2,000 or so votes.
No.
But at least 1,000, around there.
Around there.
Yeah. So what makes you...
I don't want to rule anything before they bring out their verdict. We are waiting. Let's first listen from them. But the people back home are waiting. They know that after all, the tribunal is not the voters. They represent... Actually, they don't represent anyone. The voters are back home. If they rule me out, I'll go back to my people. And my people tell me what I'm supposed to do. But as for now, I not want to
state what your next course of action will be.
I don't want to do that, and I don't want to fault them because they have not yet ruled. I believe that this time it's different.
Thank you.
From last time, because they looked organized. They looked very organized this time around, and we hope for the best.
Okay.
So I don't want to preempt anything.
All right. Thank you.
Before they come out.
Let me move to Dr. Sarah Birete. Sarah, you've heard what is motivating these young women, and that look you're giving me, I don't I don't know what it means exactly, but it would be good for a gif or a meme. So I just want to know what's running through your mind when you hear this ladies speak, and ultimately what should be the biggest motivation for anyone especially a woman vying for political position? What should be the biggest motivator?
The biggest problem we have with our parliamentary democracy is that many people do not understand the roles and duties of an MP. Our constitution is very clear in the key articles of the constitution, including the basic chapter on parliament as a legislative body of government. Article 79 is clear. The key duties of an MP is to make laws for the peace, order, and development of Uganda and to protect the constitution. Other additional duties is the appropriation and oversight of use of taxpayers' money. So when you see people vying for parliament, they promise to even build the bridges where there are no rivers. And of course, ride on that populism to, hoodwink the citizens. It's very unfortunate. The other unfortunate thing is the misinformation by the fountain of one of this country, President Museveni, who has been going around telling people that you don't have services because you voted for opposition. One time he made a stopover in Kampala and said there was no power. I said, you people, you are in darkness because you voted for opposition. And my sister Mary is re-echoing the same, that because, Kasese has had members of opposition, that's why they don't have a referral hospital.
Yes.
Very unfortunate, because you have had ministers in every regime of Museveni, starting with the senior minister Chiyonga, who was there in 1980 when we were babies, now been in cabinet since 1986. I don't know whether she was born as a baby myself.
And he's coming back, by the way.
And he's coming back.
When he's a flag bearer and we love him, he should be there.
No. Yeah, I'm just
besides the
making
point.
my submission.
Yes.
Yeah, so Honorable Chiyonga has been in cabinet for about 20 years or so, more. You have had the Honorable Christopher Chibazanga as a minister. You have Honorable Capitalgang as a minister. So Kasese has had, you had my friend Lois Bwambale as a minister and woman MP. Yes, no, I'm telling you so that for every government of NRM, there's a minister from Kasese.
Sure.
So when you make an argument that because Winnie Kiza was FDC, and they could not have a voice in NRM. So how about your ministers, who are more powerful than the NRM caucus?
They're not women.
Who lead the government agenda? So, and I'm creating a picture on the mix of roles. The function of cabinet, I've mentioned the functions of parliament. The function of executive in our constitution, starting from Article 98, is the president to protect the constitution and make sure all laws of Uganda are enforced. The president is a minister of finance, and he is the alpha and omega on use of taxpayers' money. So when you don't have a hospital, who is responsible? It's your president and chairman of your party. So when you go to the other functions, the executive function is service delivery and the security and protection of citizens. So if citizens can understand these functions, they would avoid the misleading voices of people seeking votes, but also know where to demand for what. So for an MP, you should demand for laws, good laws, protection of the constitution, and oversight and appropriation. So if money is being stolen, that's where you demand from your MP and say, what are you doing? If budget is not passed, that is a duty of an MP. If we have bad laws like the UPDF Amendment Act aiming at opposition leaders in this country, that is the duty of an MP or failure of an MP. If you don't have a hospital, that is the function of executive service delivery. It is not a function of MPs. So people should not go to the people promising to construct the bridges where there are no rivers and whatever. So as women, as the women movement, we have launched, with the leadership of Uganda Women Network, we have launched the Women Manifesto 2026-2030. And I want to invite the young people vying for several women seats to have a look at this manifesto. It's titled Her Voice. It was made through a very inclusive process, bottom-up approach, launched by the Prime Minister of Uganda, with the key participation from Ministry of Gender, all political parties, all civil society organizations, and several women leaders from the district. It has 6 key issues, and I will summarize them. I know time is not on our side. One is the first issue is human capital development, and the key aspect of this is health. So we want to advocate for 15% of the national budget in order to improve maternal health care access, integrate mental health services, and introduce tax exemptions for menstrual hygiene for women and girls. The second key issue under human capital development is education. We aim to close the gender gap in STEM and ensure school retention for girls, e.g. menstrual facilities, re-entry of pregnant students, and allocate 15 to 20 of public spending to education. Key aspect number 2 is livelihood and climate change. Economic empowerment to enhance women's access to credit, land and agricultural resources, support unpaid care work and responsibilities through subsidized child care and gender responsive taxes. Under the same aspect on climate change, we want to promote women involvement in climate-related decisions, invest in climate-smart agriculture, and fund gender-sensitive disaster resilience. Key item number 3, social norms and gender-based violence. Challenge harmful social practices like child marriage and female genital mutilation through community-led initiatives, through strengthening GBV prevention, legal frameworks, and support systems for survivors. Item number 4, I'm running very fast to save time. Women in ICT. Shrink the digital divide by improving rural women internet access, enhancing digital literacy, and addressing online GBV with stronger legal protections. Number 5 is the cross-cutting issues. On leadership, we strive to attain the 50-50 gender parity in political representation, regulate campaign finance to lower the barriers against women, and combat political violence targeting women. And corruption, advocate for whistleblower protections and measures that ensure fair service delivery to women. Peace and security, integrate women voices into peace building and conflict resolution efforts, aligning with Uganda's National Action Plan under the UN Security Council Resolution 1325. On number 6 and the final one is election security and political inclusion. We demand for an end to political violence against women, including online abuse, intimidation, and harassment, creating safer environment for female political participation. These are our ideas, key priorities, focus for the next term of 2026-2031, and we demand for a buy-in from all political actors.
All right, thank you very much. Let's take a break. I know you want to say something, Winfred. We'll come back and start with you after the break. This is VPN, and we're discussing the impact of internal party activities on women. Of course, after the break, we will then dive into the internal party mechanics or dynamics and how they impact women. And I would like to know what the processes have been like for each of you internally. That's after the break. Welcome back from the break. 14 minutes after 10 o'clock. This is KFM VPN, and it's a very heated and interesting discussion. When we were for the break, the impact of internal party activities, we were still arguing about the roles. What is it that people expect, and vis-a-vis the actual roles as stipulated in the Constitution, roles of elected leaders, in this case MPs or woman MPs. So I want us to now dive into the internal dynamics of the party. Winfred, I know you wanted to say something, but the question before you respond, before you give me that feedback is, I would like to know, have you been vetted already, first of all?
Not yet.
Not yet.
For members of parliament begins 20th to 27th.
So, but what is could you just take us through that process, because you understand your internal party issues better? And then, the experiences of maybe other women in the other lower positions that have already been vetted. What have I don't know if you've had conversations with them as the women caucus of your party. What experiences have they had, and then what are perhaps the biggest hurdles that women face within the parties?
Thank you so much, Judith. I don't like speaking for the party, but yes, I will share my experience.
You are a member. You don't speak for the party, but your experience from your perspective.
Vetting is going on. Actually, today they're in sub-regions. Today they're in Chigezi. The vetting committee, the election management committee is in Chigezi. That's Rukonjiri. They're also in Greater Mpigi and also in Lango. Vetting is going on, but for local governments, vetting for members of parliament runs from 20th to 27th of this month. And vetting takes 40%. The EMC says 40% is what you... Okay.
They give you a score.
They give you a score that doesn't go beyond 40%.
Okay.
And then 60% supposedly comes from the ground. How they assess the ground, we shall know. At the moment, the EMC knows better how exactly they assess the ground. Judith, kindly let me only respond to a few issues here.
Please, carry on.
My new friend here, Mary, talked about service delivery being tagged to the NRM. That in itself shows absence of systems. Saying, you see, you cannot have a good road because your MP is not NRM, or you cannot have services because your MP is not NRM, shows a government that has failed to deliver, that has failed to get its people out of ruins because they do not support perhaps the government in power. Because the national budget is not an NRM budget, really. The national priorities are... They could be the manifesto of the NRM, but when it develops this manifesto, it is for the good of Uganda and Ugandans. I'll give an example of Palisade District. Palisade District has 5 members of parliament, only Palisade District. All of them are NRM. Palisade District has had a non-functional hospital for a long time. The X-ray machine of Palisade District has not worked for the past 5 years. That district has only NRM MPs, and each of those MPs received 100 million shillings recently from General Museveni out of I don't know if that is out of pocket because it was off budget. That is 500 million, rather half a billion shillings. All of them NRM, but yes, the services there we all know. I want to interest my fellow panelists here, especially the women contending for parliament, to interest themselves in the Women Manifesto, as has been mentioned by Dr. Sarah Birete. I have been fortunate to study the Women's Manifesto myself because I know that I was running for Woman MP of Kampala. You do not just run for no reason. You cannot say the reason you're running is because General Museveni has been in power for 40 years. There must be a reason you're running for parliament and for that specific position. You see, the issues raised by the women of Uganda through the Women Manifesto are not issues that are coming from the air. Uganda has been part of frameworks and protocols. Uganda was part of the Abuja Declaration of 2001 in Nigeria, the Abuja Declaration on HIV, AIDS, tuberculosis, and other infectious diseases. It is from that declaration that all countries agreed to commit 15%, at least 15% of their national budget to health and healthcare improvement. That is one of the issues captured in the Women's Manifesto. It is not something that the women are saying, okay, for us, it's not like some women are entitled that, you see, we want 15%. No. This is something that Uganda agreed to through an international framework, the Abuja Declaration. Uganda has been part of the Maputo Protocol. Speaking about women's rights, the issue, the problem, actually the fact that women have to remind government of Uganda through Women's Manifesto 2026-2030 that, you see, we have to fight female genital mutilation. We have to fight school absenteeism resulting from menstruation. We have to fight teenage pregnancy. Kampala, capital city, has 16.7% level of teenage pregnancy. The girls in Kasese, the girls that live in Mpigi, the girls that live Kabarole, or the girls that live Koboko, think that they are coming to Kampala, the city blossoming with opportunities. It is sad that we still have those levels of teenage pregnancy. Uganda is part of the Nairobi Declaration on Education. That declaration emphasizes lifelong learning. What are the levels of education of girls? 37% of young people, specifically women, aged between 18 and 30, in Kampala district are categorized as NEET, not in education, not in employment, and do not have any kind of training. That is extremely dangerous. That's the age that is productive. That is the age where women should be contributing, young women, blossoming, buzzing with energy. They should be contributing to the economy. They should be helping their families, but they are not in education. They are not in employment, and they do not have any single, any inch of training. Now, these are issues that women are talking about. How do we develop the human capital of the country? Now, as the woman representative, these are issues that are on our heads and hearts. I told you I have individually worked in civil society, fighting period poverty, menstruation. Through our organization, we've been donating sanitary pads to girls in Kampala, in Sebei, sub-region, in PG, in Busoga. But you see that these are things that we should not be doing. For example, our neighbors, Kenya here, there are deliberate budgets to menstruation. You see, there is a district that we share. Uganda shares Busia district with Kenya. So there is a part of Busia that is Uganda and the other is Kenya. While a girl in Busia district of Uganda stays home for 5 days to a week because they are menstruating, the girl in Busia district of Kenya has 8 packets of sanitary pads at school every year. Yeah. You get, each of those packets has 8 pieces of sanitary pads. 3 packets for first term, 3 packets for second term, and 2 packets for third term.
Modern reusable pads.
You know?
Yeah.
So this is the government of Kenya, through their Ministry of Gender, Culture, the Arts and Heritage, has a budget for sanitary materials for girls. And the more interesting bit about this is, while the government of Kenya was calling out people to bid for the provision of pads, they categorized maybe the schools in Nairobi will be supplied by companies owned by young people not exceeding 35 years. Maybe then this province is more populated. We can allow investors, but they must be local investors. I mean, there has to be deliberate government policy to develop systems in the country and to improve the livelihood and well-being of its people. You see, as we are still talking about health from the Women's Manifesto, part of human capital development, you know the World Health Organization recommendation is 1 doctor per 1,000 patients. I mean, you know, these things that we're asking for are not from the sky. It is not like we're coming with so much entitlement and saying, you see, we want this. No. These are things that have been mentioned in
universally agreed upon.
Yeah, universally agreed upon in protocols, in statutes, in frameworks that Uganda is part of. I mean, we sponsor ministers and prime ministers to go to these countries and be part of these conversations, and they agree. Right now, the medical burden of Uganda is 1 doctor takes care of 26,000 patients. The World Health Organization requires 1 doctor to cater for 1,000 patients. Kawempe Regional Referral, Kawempe is a national referral hospital. Here, they are at 46% level of
below staffing.
You know, no, 46% employment.
Okay.
Staffing levels.
Yeah. The doctors present at 46%. Now, this is actually even paradoxical because the doctors are not enough. We only have 46% of what we need. Yet, medical interns and doctors are looking for opportunities. So you wonder where the problem is and where where we should match, where the meeting point should be. So, Judith and listeners, the problems of Ugandans, you know, like people usually say we have good policies and good laws. The problem we have is implementation. The government of Uganda has been part of all this and has agreed to all this, but they just do not implement. It is just recently that our budget has risen, but risen to what? 8.1% health budget. For how many years shall we cry for 15%? At the end of the day, they will say, see, those of opposition people, they're just too entitled. But this is, you agreed upon this in the Abuja declaration.
Thank you. Let me come to you, Adelaide, again. I would like to know what your processes are like internally within the DF, and what opportunities or gaps exist for you as a woman or for other women who want to vie for elective politics within the party.
Thank you so much, Judith. I must bring you good news that in the Democratic Party, it is democracy.
Democratic Front. You say Democratic Front.
Sorry, in the Democratic Front, it is basically democracy. And this democracy is all inclusive.
Now, how is just walk us through the process very quickly.
I'm getting there. Don't rush me. So, I'm saying, in the Democratic Front, the whole process is democratic. In being democratic, it is all inclusive. All inclusive for women, all inclusive for youth, all inclusive for all participants. I must tell you that as we go around the country to get expression of interest for the various positions, we have had over 200 women vying on the different positions. And that is very good for a party that is a beginner party. And I must tell you that in the Democratic Front, unlike the other parties like we've had, my sister in Noop can tell us, because it is all over the place, she probably could confirm the rumors that the women in Noop are being given tickets dependingly on how appeasing you are.
No, that's
appeasing. Appeasing, I can say how well you are close to that.
Those are rumors, and I think
a moment. That's why I'm saying she's here. She can help us.
I think she already explained. I asked her what the vetting process, and she gave us the deadlines.
That's why I'm here to say she's here.
Judith, am I allowed to interject?
Let her interject.
Okay, now there's a point of information. You see, my sister Adelaide, you are a leader, and as leaders, we must avoid being speculative. A lot can be said. I mean, NUP is a buzzing political party. A lot definitely can be said. I am a lady and I'm in the NUP. Nothing like that has happened to me. I do not know someone close to me who has also confided in me and told me, you see, they are telling me because you look like this or because you're shaped this way.
So thank you.
Get a card.
Thank you. As we go on, I wanted to get to the point where I wanted to bring out that processes in the political spaces can get hard for the ladies, for the women. Some of these political spaces, you find men, because they have that egoistic tendency, they think they are better in these positions, and if a lady showed up, it is probably you're showing up because you appease him.
So it's an issue of power dynamics, patriarchal structures that tend to favor men over women and things like that.
That exactly, but also men wanting to take advantage of these girls in political spaces. We cannot run away from this, because that is what it is. I brought out that example because it was all over the place, but it's good that she cleared the air.
Does it happen in DF?
It doesn't.
I wanted to ask that as well, because you're speaking.
It doesn't happen in the DF. That's why I told you that it is democratic.
Where did you meet it? Where did you meet that?
Exactly. Because she's speaking with so much confidence, like this is the order of the day. So I just wanted to ask, just like Dr. Sarah, is this something happening in the Democratic Front?
I said this does not.
Party ticket?
Wait, I told you that unlike the other party spaces that we have had, and you confirmed to us that that doesn't happen. But we also know that there is no smoke without fire. I won't go there. I'll leave that at that. So we go ahead.
So, okay, just I want to know for your own, for you to say I am aspiring for woman MP for Kampala district, what was the process like for you? Did you've picked your expression of interest forms already?
Exactly. You pick the expression of interest. After you pick your expression of interest, you pay the fee that it is, very small, affordable for all the women.
How much is that?
For a member of parliament, you just need to pay 150 Uganda shillings, as compared to the NRM.
No, which is fine.
All the other
I don't want the comparisons. Let's stick to what's happening in your camp.
I need to compare because we are going to hear
political dispensation. In NUP, you actually don't pay anything to contest.
We are going to hear their experiences.
In the political dispensation.
We are having a conversation here, Adelaide. We're just having a conversation to understand what it's like for women in this space.
So, for us, after you pick the expression of interest, you take back your expression of interest, you're subjected to an election internally. If you're more than 2 candidates vying for the same position. And if you're only 2, there is chance for you to sit down and
agree on who.
So that helps the ladies to participate, because the challenges are not as many in the Democratic Front. The reason we think all these ladies, like I told you, are coming to the Democratic Front. And by the way, as we go on, we also need to talk about election violence. You'll not stop me from talking about all these other party because we are in a multi-party dispensation. When I give an example, it's because we have seen it happen, right? I'll get to election violence. It has mostly affected women. My friend Kabuo here is a good example. She told you what she's gone through in the party primaries. So, at the DF, we are violence-free. We are violence-free.
I understand you're violence-free, but you may be violence-free, but if you are operating in a broader environment, when we're going into 2026, looking at everything we've seen so far, being violence-free does not preclude you from becoming a victim of violence if that happens in the national elections.
That is very true.
And those are some of the challenges, the threats that I would like to hear come out very, very clearly. What would that mean for women in your party or women elsewhere who are vying for elective position? If you're going into an election that is charged, that is violence prone, what would that do to the woman?
It was very important that I express what it is like in the DF. Then I went ahead to tell you, given a clue of what happened in the NRM primaries, gives a bigger picture of what we should expect in the general elections. As the DF, we are ready for what is ahead of us. We know that we know because we have seen this violence. We are not going to be violent. We don't expect violence for ourselves, but we know that violence will come to us inevitably. When this violence comes to us, this is the reason why we are here to actually tell the people that are responsible for causing violence that as we go into the general elections, it is not a battlefield. It is not a battlefield. The moment you make these elections feel like it is a battlefield, we are going to lose lives. Who loses the lives first? It is the ladies that are affected most, the women in politics. When they come out with these guns, who will run first? It is the women, because they are intimidated. So at the end of the day, we call upon the players, the Electoral Commission, that they make it a better space, that they make it fair for the players, that we do not have to run around, that there is no violence. And I still call upon the other political players, let it not be sex for the ticket, I think.
Well, let's move to you, Mary. Your experiences, again, looking at also the aspect of violence, but what does it, do you think there's some peculiar challenges that women face in elective politics that men do not face? And this doesn't have to be just within your party, even generally speaking.
Thank you so much, Judith. First of all, I first appreciate the NRM government that created this position of affirmative. We are all here, 1, 2, 3, who are contesting because the NRM realized that a woman must represent other women in parliament. And because of the phobia and blah, blah, they created for us this. I just appreciate my sisters to appreciate. I request them to appreciate the NRM government for creating that position. And number 2, as that position was created in the Constitution, it's constitutional that...
I think I'll need to be corrected. Was affirmative action an NRM thing, or this is something that precludes... that goes way beyond, right from the Beijing Declaration?
It goes way beyond.
1930.
The meeting in 1982, the Nairobi Declaration, attended by women from Uganda.
But at least Museveni's government has brought this up.
You know, NRM people can tell
and
you
implemented
to
it.
thank President Museveni for the air you breathe.
Actually, I speak with a big voice that we thank the NRM government under the leadership of President Yoweri Museveni, who has given us opportunity as women to serve, to lead, and to have this leadership space, or to enjoy the political space of this government. Yeah, like you asked me, we still continue facing challenges as women. By gender basis. Challenges like financial, like when they tell us, she was talking about the 3 million for nomination. Our nomination fee is 3 million, by the way. And I believe there's so many women out there, even in Kasese, in Uganda, who have the potential to represent the people, who can speak on behalf of the people, who have the books and all the credentials, but because of the money they can't. And we continue facing. The other day, was it yesterday, but when I was on NTV speaking about finances, something about the money in politics, how it impacts the leadership of Uganda, or the outcome of the leadership of Uganda. So we keep on facing that by, is it prejudice? Yeah, that a man is supposed to be richer than a woman. Like some of us have a capacity. I must say that maybe I was cheated. Someone was asking me on NTV, why you cheated out because of the money? And I was like, no, I think no, because the votes I got, or I received from the people, were genuine votes. People voted me the way I am because they believed in my capacity, in my leadership style, and in the person in me, and the leader that they want me to become. So I'll just put myself there. And but we thank the NRM government still. People will object in my panelists will object with me here because I'm speaking about the NRM all the time. She was talking about the unemployment of women. At least government has come up with programs under PDM and GROW that support young women to set up small businesses here in Kampala, from Kampala, Western Uganda, Northern Uganda.
The criteria, I know. But let's talk about GROW. It is a good initiative, absolutely. But when you also go into the details, it is quite elitist. To meet the threshold to actually qualify for that, it locks out a lot of people who would actually need the money.
That's another story for another day. That's a story for another day. But for now, at least the initiative and the intention is okay. For the NRM government that has provided that, it's only the people maybe who are working there that are trying to destroy.
They are non-functional.
Yeah, maybe that, but at least the policy of bringing this service close to the people is excellent. To me, I thank the government of NRM for bringing up this, and PDM is doing very well.
Okay, Mary, just one question for you very quickly. If you found yourself in Parliament, what is that one policy or piece of legislation that you would strongly push for to actually help the women in your constituency?
I think I'll dwell around PDM because it's doing well. I'll dwell around PDM. Also for your information, last time, or the last financial year, they were giving out 1 million per household. This time it has increased to 2 million. So that one thing that I'll dwell on is around PDM, because this is money, it's almost free money to my people. Where will you get this kind of money on planet Earth, which is just zero interest rate for all Ugandans, without discriminating which political party you belong to, you subscribe to, but you're just a Ugandan, you have a national ID, and everyone is eligible to receive a national ID. And I think this is where I would first begin, because it's all about economic empowerment for our people. I can't empower them economically because I do not have government. I need to dwell or tap into government programs and projects to make sure that I also empower my people.
Okay.
Yeah, and then another thing, Judith, that we keep changing is violence, verbal violence, emotional violence, and other kinds of violence that we keep on facing as women who are in politics. But by the time, the good thing is that we know and we're aware that there is violence. So some of us go there with a heart of a stone. We're very strong and resolved that we are going to join this political space, and our people back home, there's still actually some human beings or some Ugandans who still think that when a woman joins politics, you're a prostitute, you cannot manage your family, you're just wasted, you are just going there to be sleeping around with every man that you say. No, this is actually, I call this violence, which needs should I say government to Yambe? Oh God.
Have they asked about your marital status during your campaigns?
Definitely, they know me. Of course, they keep on teasing you. Some of them do it deliberately just to divert you, just to make you feel uncomfortable or comfortable. And they know you as a person, but they'll keep on saying that. And other horrible things that a human being should not experience. But all in all, when you focus, you get focused to your leadership role, you know what you want. Some, you close your ears, close one ear and open another one.
All right.
So that you just keep on.
I need to move to Sarah.
But Sarah, as I conclude, as we are facing this as a women member of Parliament, we have our counterparts down there, the councillors and the councillors at LCY at
the lower levels,
at the lower levels of those structures, and it also keep on facing this. So maybe we request what Elder Senior Sarah was talking about here, about a manifesto for the women, but for us in NRM we have only one manifesto. Both the women and men, the youth, we only have one manifesto that we implement at the end of the day. So we just request, like maybe your organization to come down there. I actually requesting you to come down there to Kasese, organize a workshop for our people and all of us who are contesting for these leadership positions as women.
Thank you, Mary. Let me come to you, Sarah. Again, you've been taking note of what these ladies have been saying. I'm sure you'll have some good responses. But also my question to you, when you look at internal party processes that women have to, be subjected to, do you think they hinder or actually enhance women's participation in politics?
No, first of all, it's a bit of a depressing moment to see women also using the sexual violence card against each other, even on such a panel. It's really, women, you need to up your game. If men are there pointing at this one is a slut, this one, then you come here and propagate what the men are saying. You know that you are in a wrong place. You're not a woman leader. The first card for women leaders is to never bring each other down. The first card for women feminism, the first card for women human rights is to never bring each other down using the stereotypes of men. Stop the sex card. Leave it for cheap men. Having said that, the women movement is struggling because of the quality of leadership by women in politics. Today, our hero, when you hear such debates and you're like, I miss Madam Rhoda Karima, the grandmother of our mentorship. What is it that women should bring into leadership? What is it that a woman leader should stand for? What is it that they should speak about? Are they bringing the patriarchal stereotypes? Or they are bringing the issues of men, of women, that were suffocated for so long? The reason for affirmative action. And my dear sister Mary, you can thank Museveni and his government for all many good things. But women affirmative action is a global movement that started long way before even UPM that my family belonged to was formed. If you look at the generations of Rhoda Karima, the generations of Elizabeth Rubega in the Legislative Council, Legiko, Joyce Mpanga, really, the fight for women during colonial administration against forcing us to plant cash crops and when we have no food security. So it is, you can give credit where it is due, but you should also recognize that this is a journey of generations and generations. Yet he added a strong brick, but it's not his miracle. Yeah, it's not his miracle. So it's wrong, when young people don't understand
where
such
the genesis of certain issues,
concepts. Yet they are leaders. Anybody who vies for leadership is a leader. Now, how many generations are they going to mislead if they don't educate themselves? So, but going to your question, it's the women movement has been hijacked at the political multi-party level. Women movement was stronger under the movement system of governance because there was no party this, party this. The women would sit and say, this is our program. The Women Manifesto, and I want to answer the last comment of Mary saying for us in NRM there is nothing like women. Yes. This Women Manifesto was launched by Prime Minister Nabanja. I hope you recognize her in your leadership. It's your ignorance. Yeah, just look for it. Just educate yourself. So when you look at for us women, no. The first buy-in from parties was from NRM. So when you sit here, you need to know that your party has already signed up on the Women Manifesto. So you need to educate yourself and up your game. So the Women Manifesto binds everyone. The issues I mentioned have no party line. If 16 plus women are dying every day in the maternal, in the labor ward, they are women. So we need to have issues that are for women, which are party blind. If a girl child is dropping out of school because of lack of say sanitary pads. It's a woman issue. So we need to have women issues, regardless of which party you are in. But when you sit here and say, for you civil society, now I'm inviting you to Kasese, you think people of Kasese were not in the room. You think they were not in the room. Your woman MP current was in the room. Your former MP was in the room. The councillors from Kasese were in the room. It is you who is left behind. So, Women, Uganda Women's Network, Women Democracy Network, Forum for Women in Democracy, and programs like Center for Constitutional Governance, where we met my friend here, Winfred, in university. We have continuous mentorship programs. I wish to invite women, including the first ones on the panel and others, who are vying for leadership. These training programs are free. Women Democracy Network has set up a big structure for all women in political parties. They go district by district. All women in political parties have signed up their own accord. They have their structure. They have their rotational leadership. Like the way you see iPod, not this amendment of parliament, which I don't agree with. Like you see iPod the dialogues. The women have their own dialogues cross-party. So
sorry, are you, Adelaide and Mary, aware of these kinds of programs and how they can actually benefit young women like you? Are you members? Do you participate in this?
Have you been trained?
Yeah, we have people who have been there.
No, have you been trained?
As Adelaide, have
why
you?
not?
I am aware and have attended them.
Okay.
But my
so they help you.
Have one national manifesto.
They help you improve your abilities as women, but also a continuous platform of women in political parties. So if you are aware, please up your abilities. So the challenge we have is that the women in leadership, as much as we have now, like in the current cabinet, the biggest posts of women. You have a woman vice president. You have, not that she's the first, of course there was Speciosa, but woman vice president, woman speaker, woman prime minister, it has happened for the first time. But what value have they added to the girl child, to the woman of Uganda, especially grassroots woman? We have been tasking the women leaders to go beyond the numbers. We have celebrated the numbers they are created for in the 1995 Constitution. This Constitution is going to make 30 years a few days from now. On 8th October, it will be 30 years of the 1995 Constitution. So we are not here to celebrate the numbers. 30 years down the road, we want value of women leaders to the common woman, to the common girl child in Uganda.
Thank you very much. And we just have a few minutes left to wind up. So we will now be looking at the way forward, and again to our political aspirants. If you could change one thing tomorrow, I think I'll throw this question. I'll start with you, Winfred. That could make it easier for another woman to join elective politics or participate. What would it be?
Thank you, Judith. That's a very straightforward question. Please allow me to comment on a few issues. I would like to, I am a living testimony of Women's Democracy Network. I thank Dr. Saraj for bringing it up. It is Miss Perry tour of Women's Democracy Network that launched me in politics, actually, in 2014 when they brought a program to Chambogo University where I was a first-year student, and I joined FDC then because they came with all these different leaders, Miss Ingrid Torinawe, David Pulkola, and all the others. And we kept being inspired, and here we are now running for serious office. We talked about GROW here, and you said it's elitist. Yes, it is elitist. As soon as GROW was launched, it had, there were 6 commercial banks that government had set to disperse this money. I went to each one of them. One of them was also my own bank. And in less than 2 weeks, the money was not there. So you'll not find a woman in Natete market or Rusega or Mnamuongo market here or Chitintale who ever received money from GROW because, they did not qualify. Yet this money is meant to develop the women of Uganda.
Stephen is putting me under pressure.
Yes,
we have 4 minutes.
Yes. Judith, we have work to do as women leaders. Dr. Sarah here mentioned the women leaders that we have on the top. Where is the value? Yes, if we still have issues as small as family planning needs, the National Planning Authority Rather, no. Civil society is campaigning for, actually, no, the budget is 80 billion for family planning needs of women in Kampala. How much do we have? 47 billion. If women cannot have something as basic, because we don't want to talk about these things in kind of statistics, but they are leading to so many unwanted pregnancies. What would I change if I had to change something?
To make it easier for another woman to join, to be where you are or where you want to be.
First of all, I would promote education, education about leadership and governance.
Thank you.
It is extremely important because it is from such academies and institutes that we have emerged as serious contenders.
Thank you. Adelaide, the one thing you would do well, or to make it easier for another woman to
Thank you so much.
Into a political space.
Thank you so much. In the interest of time, it is important that I respond. First of all,
we don't. We just have 3 minutes. You're going to be cut short.
It's okay. I want to respond to Sarah Birete, Doctor, that it is important that we do not sweep these matters under the carpet. That if there is sexual harassment deterring women from participating in politics, it is dealt with, but not just merely sweep it under the carpet.
I don't think she meant sweeping it under the carpet. She
said I was using it for a card, that we use it for a card against
attack another.
No. It wasn't in the interest of attack, but to bring it out, that it is not swept under the carpet. I leave that at that. That we also look at not monetizing politics. Because the more we monetize politics, we are pushing away capable leaders. Because they cannot afford. Okay. How many women can afford 3 million Uganda shillings for nomination? Not so many.
So that's the one thing you would do, make it easier, make it more affordable.
Yeah, make it more affordable. Then lastly, I call upon all the political players out there, let's unite against electoral violence.
Thank you. And thank you, Mary.
Yeah, I think the one thing that I would dwell on, I'd make sure that I encourage other women to join politics. I would make sure that I lobby and setting quotas for all women in politics, and most especially the female representation, and violence against women in politics. And make sure that I go to schools, as well as going to schools, secondary schools, for mentorship programs, making sure that the women or the girl child join politics at that early age, and they're exposed to leadership challenges and strength. And then also is to encourage the women or the country or whatever media to involve the women in that space, media space, so that they can.
Thank you. Your last list are too many.
Expand participation through women caucuses.
Thank you.
Like what
so, Sarah, I'm not going to ask you that particular question, but I'll just need you to give us your parting shot and also a word of wisdom for these ladies. I know you've given some words already, but as they go into this political space, into this foray, what is that important take home that you want to give them?
Well, maybe I want to re-emphasize the need for mentorship, for grooming, for training of leaders, especially women leaders. Overall, I want to say that the women, we want to see quality in leadership. It's no longer about the numbers. Even when we need to integrate the numbers, it's important to underscore the fact that Uganda is far behind now in the quest for gender parity. The AU Constitutive Act and the African Union 2063 agenda emphasizes gender parity 50-50 in leadership. Uganda is stuck at 1/3. We are lagging behind. We started well, but we've lost the baton. We're far behind, but also the women who are in, we are not there for numbers, we are not there for volume, we are not there for just see people in the feminine dresses. We want value, we want quality in women leadership in Uganda.
Thank you very much to you all, Winfred Nakandi, Dr. Sarah Birete, Adelaide Nachitendi, and Marilyn Kabuho. We've been talking about the impact of internal party activities on women in politics. The VPN returns next Saturday to join us then. Special thanks to my producer, Stephen Bidde, and thank you to all of you who tuned in. We didn't open our phone lines today. We had a very big panel, and the conversation could have dragged on for another 1 hour. Thank you very much. My name is Judith at Team. See you next Saturday.